You wanted the best. You've got the best podcast, the hottest podcast in the world. The Chris Voss Show, the preeminent podcast with guests so smart you may experience serious brain bleed. Get ready. Strap yourself in. Keep your hands, arms, and legs inside the vehicle at all times, because you're about to go on a monster education roller coaster with your brain. Now, here's your host, Chris Voss.
Hi, folks. Chris Voss here from the ChrisVossShow.com, the ChrisVossShow.com. We certainly appreciate you guys tuning in. Thanks for being here. We really appreciate it.
Hey, folks, this is a quick break-in from the show. Hey, be sure to check out my new courses at ChrisVossLeadershipInstitute.com. That's ChrisVossLeadershipInstitute.com/courses, or you can just click the courses tab. You can see we've got new courses up for how to start a podcast and video training that can get you up to date on everything we're doing. Of course, my speaking, my coaching, and everything else. But be sure to check out the new course that we have up for starting your own podcast. After 13 years, I'm kind of sharing some of the secrets of what I know. So be sure to check that out at ChrisVossLeadership.com/courses.
Today we have an amazing guest on the show as we're going to be sharing with and talking to. She's the author of the new book, Grace Under Fire, that just came out today, July 19th, 2022, by Julie Garwood. It's book 14 of her Buchanan, Renard, McKenna series, and she's going to be talking to us about her new book and everything that goes into it. She is the author of numerous New York Times bestsellers. The most recent, Wired, landed at number 2 with over 36 million copies in print. Her novels take you from the rugged clans of the medieval Scotland to the mind of a modern-day computer hacker, all with her signature humor blended with good helpings of romance and success. Welcome to the show, Julie. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you, and thanks for inviting me.
And thanks for coming. It's an honor to have you on the show. Congratulations on the new book. Give us a .com or wherever you want people to find you on the interwebs.
My website is just juliegarwood.com, but Facebook, it would be Facebook.com/Julie Garwood. Real simple.
There you go. Yeah. So this is a book in a series, is that correct?
It is, but it's a standalone too. You don't need to know the others. You could just start with this one, and if you want to read the others after you finish it, then the main character is Michael Buchanan. Mm-hmm. He has a lot of brothers and 2 sisters. So if they're interested, they could just pick another brother and read that story. So, Chris, I was asked a couple of times, how do you keep them all straight? Well, I'm from a large family, and I can't imagine not knowing who they are, you know? I like writing about big families.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
And I like having everybody have an opinion. So, yeah.
I imagine with large families, there are a lot of people with a lot of opinions, aren't there?
Oh, yeah. But when I was growing up, we sat around the dining room table to do homework, and there was a lot of chaos. And I learned early to block all that out when I work, which is good because now there's always something going on, and I can, the louder the better. I don't ever want to learn to write silence because, you can't control that. And when I am alone, I turn the television on and blast it, and then I go to work.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you can listen to TV and work at the same time, huh?
I block it out. I don't know what's really going on the television. It's just noise.
That's really interesting. That's an interesting writing sort of thing. So what motivated you want to add this to the series and write this book?
Well, I had come up with the idea for the first one, the Buchanans, and I had been writing historical romance with a suspense. Mm-hmm. But this one story, I couldn't get it to work in a historical setting. I had gone to London with my older sister, Cookie, that's what we called her, and she couldn't wait. Neither could I. It was our first trip. But she made me promise that we would go to Mass every day. She's devout Catholic. Anyway, I promised, and by the time we got to London, we didn't sleep at all on the plane. We were kind of punchy. But there was a church nearby and there was a service. So we went, and the sermon that the priest gave was really kind of, I shouldn't say this, but it was kind of funny. He got to it was the lesson of the prodigal son. But when he got to what I would call the punch of it, or the punchline, he just stopped. And then he said, "But I know you know." And the congregation, they are all nodding. So then he started another story like the prodigal son. And when he got to the lesson we should learn, he stopped again. And he said, "But I know you know, I know you know." Well, I couldn't resist. I leaned over to Cookie and said, "I don't know." And that made her laugh. And so then she got up and moved because I was, maybe, not paying attention. And I'm sitting there by myself, and I noticed the confessional against the wall with this red velvet curtain. And I thought, I wonder if the sin that this priest must hear. And that led to a scene, what if somebody confessed, but it was a sin they were going to commit.
Oh.
And that was the beginning of the book, Heartbreaker.
Wow.
And it was a Buchanan, the first one. So I seem to know from one scene what the whole book is. And that's what I do for some reason, which is great.
Yep.
That I see that. But I don't know. That's how the mind works, I guess.
That's pretty awesome. So you can confess to pre-sin? I didn't know that. I should just go pre-sin.
Oh, yeah. Bless me, Father, for I have sinned. But what if it's for I will sin? Well, of course, you're not going to get absolution. But then I made it more complicated, and that was fun to do, too.
That sounds very interesting as a premise. So tell us about the new book. Give us at least some teasing insight to what happens in this new book and what course it takes.
Well, great Isabel MacKenna goes to Boston for a reunion and then on to Scotland to get her signed papers for her inheritance. And the opening line is, Grace Isabel MacKenna had 100 things to do today. Killing someone wasn't one of them. And that's what this story is about, and how that trauma follows her. And Michael, who was a former Navy SEAL, he's the Buchanan, by the way, he is an attorney. He goes with her. And it's kind of there's a lot of humor in this book. I don't want to write stories about serial killers or psychopaths because I think especially today it's more fun to smile. And I will always do a happy ending no matter what. I've made a vow. I only kill bad people. And I guess that is really bad. But anyway, that's how I look at life right now.
You only kill bad people.
A fun character. She really is. And she sings, and she becomes what they say is an overnight sensation. But that story is fun too. That mixes in. At the end, they end up together, and that's good.
Well, that's good. So it kind of has a happy wrap up at the end.
Yeah.
Were there some of do you usually write thinking maybe of some characters from Hollywood and different things?
I'm sorry, what? I didn't get that.
Do you sometimes imagine your characters being played by Hollywood actors? Maybe if this gets converted to movies or something of that nature?
Well, For the Roses, which is a historical that I wrote, became a Hallmark Hall of Fame.
Oh, wow.
And it's nice to say it was the highest rated movie of the season. They were very pleased with it. But I don't know. I write the book. I don't picture. I did write a screenplay. I've just never given it to anyone. And I've written a couple of what I call kids' books, but they're actually YA, young adult. When I started writing, Chris, I didn't have a notion of what these categories were. I had gone back to school. I had 3 children, and I worked. So I worked in my husband's office. And my routine, I would get up at 4:15 every day and ride until 7. Then I would get the kids up for school, and I'd get dressed and take them to school, come home and get stuff, and then go to work in an office. So the only time I could ride was then. And then I also took 2 days a week to finish at Avila College. I was a history major starting out. And I wrote historical.
Wow.
Anyway, kind of gotten off track. Do I picture Hollywood people? No, I don't. I just, whatever they do, they're the ones doing that, whoever the screenplay writer is.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's kind of interesting. Some people, I don't think many people, authors in an interview, think of that, but some people, they kind of set up for the screenwriting or set up for, it's so amazing different things get bought. But that was cool that one got bought by Hallmark. That's pretty awesome.
Now, do you know who the main star was? Jennifer Gardner.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah.
She's amazing. Yeah. Are there any characters in your book that you took from maybe people that you know, or?
In each book. And trust me, I'll never run out of them. In this one, she is a horrible driver. And she just never gets better. And when my daughter was learning to drive, and I thought, oh my God, she could never get a license. Well, she's a great driver, but it was that first starting out that was kind of funny. And that's in the book. I hate to drive, but starting out, I just couldn't do the parallel parking. I couldn't do a lot of things when you're 16. Huh? So, I don't know. That's one. I'm trying to think what other flaws right now in the book. But yeah. And people I know who, especially people who think that they're superior to other people. I know you know people like that, and I do too, and it's maddening, and they go in.
Yeah.
Trying to give their one up too, you know what I mean? Which is fun.
Yeah, I mean, they just don't get it. Is there any stories or scenarios you want to tease out that's in the new book that you think readers would like?
I think they're going to like Scotland, because I always end up going back there, at least in the historical and in a couple of the contemporary. And you learn a lot about the area they're in, which is up in the Highlands. I went there, and it's just the most beautiful place. I hard even to describe. It's like utopia for me. And so they'll learn a lot about that and the people there who are very interesting and colorful. They're like the Irish. So, and the competition between them is fun. There's a character in this book, Xavier, who is a famous singer. And he goes by the initials XO, which he doesn't like, but it caught on. And he's a mega star. Huh? And he sees a video of Isabel and asks her to perform with him. And then you learn about where they are in Boston that this happens and going out on stage. And he's really charismatic, and I think he's going to be the next book after this one. Oh. Because he's from Ireland, started singing when he was a teenager. I don't know, he kind of reminds me of Bono,
Really?
I guess there are a lot of comparisons to people that I admire.
That's interesting. It reminds you of Bono, the singer from U2, because he's from Ireland too, and all that stuff.
He is, and it's all the good that he does with the band too, with their earnings and the people they have helped and all. And I don't know. He's someone to be admired. I don't want a hero you wouldn't admire.
That's true.
And I like I said, I want a villain to be someone who sees a comeuppance, so to speak.
That definitely makes all the difference.
Huh?
Anything more you want to tease out on the book?
Let me think. Well, I don't know. I was going to write more about Navy SEALs and decided those books have been done. And so, no, I didn't. It was fun just learning about Scotland. I hope that people come away smiling. You know, I get letters, or not letters, emails back, too many, in fact, from women who are going to chemo, which breaks my heart.
Oh, wow.
But say things like, you got me through it. I read the same book over and over, and you think, wow, you know, but that's the whole point. You want to make an impact no matter what you do in life. Mm-hmm. And I think as an author, that's pretty cool.
That definitely is cool. I mean, it makes all the difference. It's interesting how we make an impact in other people's lives, isn't it?
It is. You know, I didn't learn to read until I was almost 11. Mm-hmm. My tonsils out. When I came back, my kids, because I was out a long time, the kids in my class were already in groups. We were birds back then. You had the blue jays, and you had the robins, etc. And I didn't catch up. And it wasn't until I was 11 that my mom realized how, you know, that I didn't have a clue. And they sent me to St. Teresa's Academy and grabbed a sister there who was there for the summer, Sister Elizabeth. And she taught me to read.
Wow.
And she made quite an impact. I named my daughter after her. But once I learned to read, I was never without a book. And I think I've always been a writer. You know what really did it? Steinbeck wrote a book, and it's about the bull and the depression. And there's a scene in it that I was reading about they get in a wagon and they're making their way to California. And hot, you know, very descriptive. And when I finished that scene, I had to get a glass of water. Mm-hmm. And I thought, this author made me thirsty from the scene.
Wow.
And that just kind of overwhelmed me. And I thought, I want to be able to do that, you know? So that's kind of my fun goal.
Wow.
Get you invested as a reader, I guess.
There you go. Well, I think people are going to be excited to see your book and read it and order it up wherever the fine books are sold. Anything more you want to touch on or tease out before we go?
I love hearing from people, and I really hope they like this book. It's kind of like, once it comes out, you wring your hands. I don't read reviews. Mm-hmm. You could have 20 awesome reviews and one negative, and guess what you focus on? You know, the negative. So I just don't. I like hearing from people.
Yeah.
And if they tell me something was wrong, I appreciate it. But,
there you go.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, you know,
oh yeah, people are fickle and funny. Like I think the only bad review that I have on my book is someone who thought I was someone else, and they're like, I thought this was a different person, and you're like, well, why would you write a bad review if you just because you know there's someone who has a similar name to me? Like, why write a bad review because you're stupid and you don't know who the hell you're who the hell's book you're reading.
Wrong author.
Yeah. Yeah. I've had it on my podcast too, where people, I've had, there's only one, and it's one person who wrote a bad review they didn't write a bad review in the podcast. They actually liked it. They said it was hilarious. They only gave it 2 stars though. And they said, I thought this podcast was hosted by someone else with a similar name. And I was like, seriously? Like,
that's not fair.
Like, that's like me ordering vitamins on Amazon. And instead of vitamins, it's like, I don't know, let's throw something out, magnesium. And then I'm angry at the magnesium order because I'm stupid enough to not order the right product. And I go write a bad review on that and stuff. So
yeah.
I think I still got 2 stars on Amazon. I don't remember, but it was just really funny. It's like, I thought this book was written by somebody else, but I'm going to give it a subpar review because even though it's, good or hilarious, whatever, but you can't win sometimes, really, with calls.
And that's whenever the reviews are anonymous. That's even more,
Yeah, and there's a lot of people that they just want to take you down a peg because they're sometimes competitors, right?
When I was lucky enough to hit number one on the Times, and there were some people who just were angry. It was as though I took it from them, which makes absolutely no sense.
Oh, they thought that it was their story?
Your name wasn't the same, and they expected. That's crazy.
Yeah, there's 7 billion people in the world. Like, anybody could be living the same scenario just randomly by accident. This plot that's in your book or sub parts of the book. You used my name, Bob. Clearly, you wrote about me.
I hear you.
You can't win sometimes. We've been on YouTube for 12 years. There's some people, they just have nothing but hate to spew and ugliness and nothing positive to say. And I don't know. I just imagine they're all angry people who live in their mother's basement and don't have a life. That's how I just imagine it. The beautiful part about our shows or YouTube though, is we still get paid if you watch it. So if you want to write an angry, hateful comment, that actually gives the show more juice and stuff. So, it's, if you want to pay me, I don't know, we make a penny or two off a comment or review. If you want to pay me to throw hate at me, well, I still got paid. So it's in my bank account. That's how I look at it.
Hey, I'm going to write a great review. Now that I've discovered you, I'm serious.
Thank you. We really appreciate it. We've been doing the show for 12 years, so thank you if you get a chance.
12 years? Wow.
Yeah, I think it'll be 13 in August. But it's been wonderful to have you on the show. Thank you for coming by. Give us your .com so people can find you on the internet, please.
Okay, it's JulieGarwood.com.
There you go.
And book at Facebook.com/Julie Garwood.
There you go. And thank you very much for coming on the show, Julie. We certainly appreciate it. It was a pleasure to meet your acquaintance.
I enjoyed this. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Julie. And everyone, go out and order her new book. It's available on Amazon or wherever fine books are sold. Remember, just go into those fine bookstores. Don't go in the alleyway bookstores because you might need a tetanus shot if you go in there. Grace Under Fire. It's available today, July 19th, 2022. Order it up so you can be the first one on your book club or block to take and get it. Julie Garwood. Thanks for tuning in. Be good to each other. Stay safe. And we'll see you guys next time.